Marvel Cinematic Universe Doctor Strange, the canon one, the main universe one, by the way. He was a neurosurgeon, ended up getting in a car accident, injuring his hands, seeked out help to get his hands healed, ended up coming across the mystic arts with the ancient one, the best sorcerer in the world at the time, learned magic from her, just the world of magic in general, just the standard things, becoming her student and everything. Despite his physical limitations, he was able to excel because he had a natural talent. Even they noticed it. His main goal was just to find a cure for his hands. Ended up getting into mystic arts, ended up saying, I'm just going to do mystic arts full time, becoming the master of mystic art. Well, all that went sideways. Had to go against some zealots that was powered by the ridiculously powerful threat known as Dormammu, an other dimensional being that threatens the universe.
A being of infinite power, endless hunger, cosmic conqueror.
We haven't seen much from Dormammu in the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet, but it just kind of bears the question what we're going to see from him in the future. Because we know Strange is going to eventually get close to his level to the point where he can battle him, which is going to be insane considering how they describe him. In the deleted scene, you can even see Dormammu fulfilling wishes, granting them power. The Zealots, they said he's like the destroyer of worlds. That's more than likely not going to be an exaggeration because comic characters can destroy planets. So more than likely Dormammu's going to be able to do so as well. You're probably thinking, if magic is something you can just learn, why doesn't every character in Marvel just learn magic? Well, it's extremely hard to learn magic. It takes years of training. However, Doctor Strange is a prodigy, basically, and he can learn things at an extraordinary rate. Even they mentioned it in the movie. He's like an anomaly or outlier when it comes to sorcery. That's just his thing he specializes in, helping him be able to learn advanced spells that even top-tier magicians that have been doing it for years can't do.
Where did you learn the litany of spells required to even understand it? What you just did takes more than a good memory. You were born for the mystic arts.
Being a sorcerer isn't all about trickery. They also learn melee combat and karmatai, like literally using staves and all that fun stuff. Yeah, they literally know martial arts. Magicians are dangerous even in hand-to-hand combat. Notice their stances and stuff, hand-to-hand combat. They even use magical weapons like the staff. That's Mordo's magical weapon, one of the many relics they get. He can enter spirit mode and slug it, basically on the astral plane. He specializes in light-based form of magic. That's why you see him making all them shields like that with all them weird designs. Kind of like his way of making Green Lantern constructs, making shields, swords, and all that cool stuff. Literally stated, you've mastered teleportation and ingested our vast library faster than any other.
The Book of the Invisible Sun, Astronomia Nova, Codex Imperium, Key of Solomon. You finished all of this. Come with me. This section is for masters only.
He read all the advanced books. Wong approved him to go to a section with more advanced studies or advanced spells at his discretion. Only he can provide that privilege if you're good enough as he sees fit. Strange even advanced so fast he could learn stuff that was too advanced for other sorcerers. It was literally the Sorcerer Supreme's private collection. Spells too advanced for any other magician other than the Sorcerer Supreme, yet Strange wanted to check it out. That's why they said he was born for the mystic arts earlier in the vid I showed.
What are those? The Ancient One's private collection. Those books are far too advanced for anyone other than the Sorcerer Supreme.
The Ancient One even described him as the best of us.
Strange is meant to be the best of us.
He can conjure up whips out of energy, blocking attacks with the whip. He can grab vases with the whip, slashing at a zealot, grabs Ebony Maul. He seemed to learn duplication spell. He had to learn that duplication spell off screen though, making a whole bunch of whips during this epic battle with Thanos. Made like an energy sword to fight against Thanos with. He's made weapons. Daggers get blocked from Drax. Can make big force fields, making this giant force field around everybody to protect everybody from the impact. He's blocking attacks from zealots, blocking all these attacks from Dormammu. He wasn't nowhere near his prime skills here. He did block a couple blasts from Dormammu though, successfully. The fact that he was able to hold off this blast for just a little while, even though he got overcome, which is impressive. He has good pain tolerance, even being able to make these energy constructs while in a lot of pain. Helped Iron Man on this occasion with this, helping his blasting. These look very similar to the Crimson Bands of Sidrak from comic lore, something he had to learn off screen, wouldn't you say? On top of him knowing astral projection, separating one's soul from the body, in this state, time can be slowed or his perception can increase. This is one of the few things he had trouble with, like I showed earlier. Spent many months training to learn this. But of course he did finally master it, even though it wasn't easy at all. You could be a major creep with an ability like this, I'm not gonna lie, like a ghost mode. He can even utilize this while he's sleeping by studying more. Even taking inanimate objects to the astral plane with him, like how? It's even implied you can let people in the real world see your astral form if you choose to, or other magicians can just see your astral form. You can use your abilities even while in astral form because he was able to open up the mirror dimension while in astral form. Like that, show himself. This state he would be dangerous. lightning is moving in slow motion in this perception state, really have combat speed in this and utilize their time. And if you're just too strong to beat in a real fight, he can literally battlefield remove you and teleport you to a whole nother dimension. Like the mirror dimension, for example. He even used the mirror dimension to counter our Power Stone blast. See what I'm saying? He also has objects like the sling ring to get out of the mirror dimension. Spells that he seemed to learn off screen, like creating tea. You know what I'm saying? He can change his clothes really fast, completely changing outfits basically. Creates this burst of energy to stop all of this hurricane-like behavior. Gotta love it. Placed an enchantment on the Eye of Agamotto that burns anybody that tries to grab it. Even these torture needles get shielded from it. Prep time Doctor Strange will be scary. Was able to make these like lightning bolts energy blasts in this occasion with Thanos. Like I don't even know this spell either. Transform like this little black hole that Thanos threw at him into like literal butterflies. Can make clones of himself. Gotta respect it. And their attacks seem to actually be physical too. They're not just illusions. He hid the time stone so good to where you wasn't finding it without his permission. He does spells like this, destroying Thanos' minions, stop this lake from expanding with, one can say, some form of telekinesis. This gotta be right. Respect it. There are no shortage of magical artifacts. Strange even has a couple of them, or even had a couple.
So we imbue objects with it, allowing them to take the strain we cannot.
An ordinary person can't go up to a relic and just randomly use it though. Sorcerers have to be able to use it. The relic chooses the person, like the cloak of levitation shows Strange.
The cloak of levitation. It came to you.
No minor feat. It's a fickle thing.
It seems to be sentient because it's literally alive. It could be used as an extra set of eyes for Strange too, to protect him in battle, one could say. Telling him to use certain weapons or moving him out the way of danger. Strange wanted to go for those weapons, but the cloak told him to go this way. Yeah, he can literally full-blown fly. Because Drax can do that, right? But the cloak was able to wrap up Drax, showing that the cloak itself is pretty freaking strong. Same with trying not to let Thanos use the gauntlet. He doesn't have this no more, but he had the Eye of Agamotto, which houses the time stone to manipulate time continuums with spells. Just a couple of occasions of him using it, using time on apples, reverses time on this book of Cagliostro to see the missing pages, get the missing spells, and learn about the Dark Dimension. Undoes the destruction of Hong Kong by reversing time. See what I'm saying? Time even got frozen, for Pete's sake. He can free you from the time manipulation that's happening, if he wishes to make you immune to the time going backwards or whatever. He trapped Dormammu in the famous endless time loop to pretty much make the almighty Dormammu a prisoner. Otherwise, he couldn't beat him in a straight full-blown fight though. He's massive. Relic known as the Sling Ring.
They allow us to travel throughout the multiverse.
The more every movie goes, it kind of implies he has no limits on how many portals he can actually make, thanks to this sling ring. Or it seems to be no distance on how far he can teleport, really, even from light years away. He seemed to be able to trap Loki in like an endless void to where he was falling for like 30 minutes. There are sanctums around the world, right? He's technically the guardian of the Sanctum Sanctorium in New York, right? Doesn't that technically mean he has access to tons and tons of relics inside the same Sanctum Sanctorium? So I would suggest you not fight him inside of this place. He can use his portals as lethal devices to cut things, like accidentally cutting his taxi. They can even use it to sever limbs. See what I'm saying? And no, he cannot do this to Thanos, because Thanos is more durable than Black Dwarf or Cold Obsidian. So yeah, magicians can use these portals to cut off limbs of different folks, but I guess it depends on the power level of the being though. If they're Thanos level or Hulkish level, they probably can't just cut their limbs off this easily.
That door to the New York Sanctum. That one to the London Sanctum. Together, Sanctums generate a protective shield around our world.
This Sanctum Sanctorium also gives them access to the other sanctums in the world. One of the sanctum's weapons are the Dark Scepter, which is technically inside the sanctum. It feeds off the physical light. It pulls all light from within while also amplifying doubt and fear. He has a trio of gateways that lead to other places in the world, so you don't even necessarily need a sling ring in this occasion. There's a whole bunch of restrained relics, including relics like that. Soon as Loki arrives on Earth, he's able to use his mirror in this plate to literally teleport him, letting you know that nothing escapes the eyes of these magicians, and relics he doesn't even know how to use at the time of him doing it in his vid. As far as I'm concerned, I would say Doctor Strange has to be at least a powerhouse. Even though he's not a physical beast, he's more than likely a physical beast thanks to blast power and the villains he's going to be fighting soon, like Dormammu. The fact he did so good against Thanos in the battles. Not to mention we're going to see a lot more stuff from him thanks to the Multiversal Madness with Scarlet Witch. He's definitely a heavy hitter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He might actually be the most versatile too. Doctor Strange held his own the best against Thanos, even when he had like 4 stones. There's clear right intent of his power, countering Thanos using Infinity Stones against him. In Marvel's What If, there's an alternate universe Doctor Strange that was portrayed on screen. Obviously, this universe Doctor Strange does not compare to this one. We can assume that they probably have some of the same basic magical spell abilities. Obviously, this Strange is different from the main continuity Doctor Strange because of absorption abilities and stuff, absorbing all those cosmic beings. I'm just saying the standard abilities he should be able to do as a magician in the MCU so far. He's kind of implied to do this on screen anyway, like telekinesis still, making stuff float. Strange should be able to do this, right? They even stated transmutation, teleportation, telekinesis. Literally stated here in the subtitles. Canon MCU Doctor Strange should have energy projection as well, is because Doctor Strange in What If was actually split into two halves of himself. It was a dark him and a light him. The light him was still able to use different types of form of fireballs or energy blasts in their episodes like that. And like that, right? He just has to have full-blown energy projection. Plus, he's shown energy projection against Thanos before. You see what I mean? He has to have it. You're probably thinking, then what's his blast power then? We don't have nothing concrete. Well, yeah, that is true. We don't have really nothing concrete when it comes to him just busting inanimate object stuff. But if we base it on the fact that we consider him a powerhouse in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that would mean, yeah, I know you think of Hulk as a meme, but hey, he's still a heavy hitter via lore and writer intent. Based off of pure assumptions and the fact that we assume that he's a powerhouse tier just like these other powerhouses like Scarlet Witch, based on what Thor has done in the past, like to bust an entire city, and no, he could do it by himself. He doesn't need Iron Man. It's because vibranium absorbs shock. That's the reason why he needed help. Iron Man literally showed it.
I've moved beyond your mission.
There's the rest of the vibranium. Function still unclear.
Notice how that's all that vibranium is going through the entire city. It was making the city have a magnetic field holding the city together, which is why Thor and Iron Man need to be on each side of this to kind of counteract it. It's not like Thor didn't have enough power. It was just because the way vibranium is set up, being shock absorbent and stuff like that, and the way Ultron had a magnetic field around the city. Characters like Thor and Hulk have been narrated to be like nuclear bombs. Hulk hits Thor like a meteor type of narration. This kind of adds up with all the feats they've done so far. No, I'm not exaggerating. Even General Ross stated it. He compared Thor and Hulk to nuclear bombs, basically. That kind of adds up to what I've shown you so far.
Do you know where Thor and Banner are right now? If I misplaced a couple of 30 megaton nukes?
Even though we haven't seen Doctor Strange blast away a city, I think it's safe to assume the writers want him to be in a certain power level, assuming that his main form of attack is blast power and not his punches. We can assume his blast power has to be within that range of Thor, Hulk, etc. All those powerhouse tiers, like Scarlet Witch with her blast power can match strength like with Thanos, showing that blast power is a literal thing in the MCU. And you know the writer's going to make them similar in power. And she's a magic user. So bringing all that up in mind, Doctor Strange has to be competent. Heck, Scarlet Witch is even going to be in the Doctor Strange movie. So you know they're going to be comparable when it comes to blast power. So I would say Doctor Strange has to be able to blast apart a city with one blast. But that's none of my business. And as powerful as Doctor Strange is currently, he's still nothing compared to the alternate dimension Doctor Strange that has spent centuries longer time than this current Doctor Strange, absorbing higher dimensional beings, purposely gaining more power. Maybe the real Doctor Strange will be as strong as this alternate what if version of him in the future though. They might meet in Multiverse of Madness. Who knows? You see? You just never know what the future holds. But I'll see you guys later. Post comments down below. Let me know what you all think.